What's up, everybody? Totebeats Guy here, and we're going to be doing Twitter Tuesday. That's hashtag TWUESDAY, where you ask me your questions on Twitter and I answer them. They can be wrestling related, they can be personal questions, gaming related. Any type of question is always a good question when it comes to Twitter Tuesday. So let's get right into the questions. All right, the first question comes in. Tony, have you ever watched the epic rap battles of history on YouTube? Yes, I have. I don't watch them all the time, but I've seen them from time to time. I don't think I'm subscribed to the channel that makes them. I don't even know if that is the channel that makes them. That's the title of it or whatever. But I have watched it, and I still want to make that YouTube subscription video so I can show you guys who I'm subscribed to. I'll do that soon. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. Because you guys want to know, and I will let you know. Next question. What are your thoughts on Evan Bourne? Hashtag Tuesday. Hashtag can I be on TV? Tony. I actually really like Evan Bourne. As you know, I did Universe Mode with Evan Bourne 2011, I think it was. I think that was the first game he was in. But I actually really do like Evan Bourne. I think he's a fun wrestler. He got in trouble with the marijuana. But a lot of wrestlers have. So I don't know. I think Evan Bourne's cool. I think he's awesome. I think he's entertaining. I think he's very similar to a guy like Justin Gabriel, so I don't know. I'd like to see Justin Gabriel, Evan Bourne. That would be a fun match, right? I think Evan Bourne's a great guy. I think he should be back at WWE, hopefully soon, but we'll wait and see. I really do like Evan Bourne, though. What other wrestling federations do you watch other than WWE? To be honest, the only federation that I watch besides WWE is TNA. The problem with it is that I don't have access to a lot of these stuff. I don't follow it on YouTube. I don't really look it up. I know Ring of Honor used to be really popular, but I don't know much these days. I haven't been following it. Chikara is another one that I hear out there that is popular. I don't really follow that. There's a lot of indie wrestling like PWG. There's not a lot around my area as well. There's some local stuff, but when I go to that, it's just not as entertaining as WWE or TNA. So honestly, I haven't been following any indie wrestling, and I will say WWE and TNA is about it. But I do like watching some clips online. I look up Japan matches to see, hey, this guy's coming in. He's from Japan. He should be good. But mostly I just like to go back and watch old school matches and stuff like that. Who do you think will win the Raw and SmackDown Money in the Bank matches? I'm going to have to go for the Raw Money in the Bank one. The Money in the Bank All-Stars match is what they call it. Daniel Bryan on that one. It would be so fun to see Daniel Bryan win it. I think he's over so much that Daniel Bryan is just a guy that needs to win it. I could see Punk winning it maybe. RVD, Chance, Orton maybe. Christian, I don't know. But Daniel Bryan, bar none, that's the guy I think is going to win it. And I even may think that he could win the title that night. Who knows? And then the World Heavyweight Championship match. That one's a little bit tougher. There's a few guys that I think could win it. Wade Barrett's the one that I'm picking, really, that I think needs it. Cody Rhodes is pretty good. I think he could be in it. Dean Ambrose, I think he's ready. I don't know. Dean Ambrose or Wade Barrett are the two that I want. But definitely got to go with Daniel Bryan in the Money in the Bank All-Star match. Oh! Yes, and this next question is about Chris Benoit again, but it says, what do you think of what Chris Benoit's sister said the other day? If you haven't been following it, Chris Benoit's sister was interviewed, and here is what she said. Basically, she said, yes, my brother-in-law had concussions. He hit his head for a living, and I understand that. But it was way beyond that. He had a very serious drug and steroid problem. Unfortunately, a lot of athletes still do this day. It's spiraling out of control. The medical examiner told us after the autopsy that Chris Benoit was on his way to death within 10 months. His heart was huge and about 3 times the normal size, and it was ready to blow up at any moment. Holy crap. That is crazy. That is very, very, very crazy. With that, she also said Chris had suffered many losses of friends. Eddie Guerrero in 2005 shocked us, and nobody was prepared for that. It was devastating for Nancy, but it was devastating for Chris on a whole other level. Eddie's passing came after a long line of huge losses, and Chris was in a state of perpetual bereavement. The final blow came in mid-2007, just days before everything happened, where Sherry Martel passed away. That devastated Nancy just as much as Eddie's death devastated Chris. So there was so much going on. It was so crazy, and Chris Benoit was apparently hooked on drugs after all those deaths, hooked on steroids, and his heart was ready to explode. There's a lot of guys. Same thing happened with Eddie. He did all those drugs, and I mean, even if you get clean, it's still bad on you. It still does damage on your body, and it ruins your body. I think it's crazy that that information came out because I didn't really know about it, and now it's coming out that his heart was going to blow up, and he was going to die in 10 months. How crazier of a story would that be? I don't know if you get more crazier than what actually happened, but how crazy would it be if his heart blew up inside the ring or something like that? That would have been nuts. I think WWE has gotten a lot better. They really, really, really focus on the health of their superstars. They like to make sure that if people have a concussion or if they're injured, they sit out and they get right. They don't cut themselves anymore. If any blood happens, they make sure they bandage it right away, take care of it. Also, chair shots to the head are illegal. Try to get rid of all the deaths that they can in professional wrestling. I think that WWE is taking the right steps. They took the right step by letting Kurt Angle go. I know Kurt Angle was people were thinking that he was going to be the next Benoit or something crazy was going to happen with Kurt Angle. But Kurt Angle actually left WWE, went to TNA, had the lighter work schedule, and ended up getting his life back into the shape that he wanted. And it's awesome. I think that you get a guy's health really, really good. You can have a really long-term wrestler, and you won't see as much damage in the guys dying. You know, Lex Luger, you've seen him. Wow, he is, guys that were on steroids and now they're down. I mean, even guys are still huge these days, and I'm sure steroids still goes on, but you're seeing a lot of smaller guys like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Christian, guys like that, even RVD. There's just smaller guys that make the company still entertaining. Because if you look at Stone Cold, he wasn't that huge. He was not that huge. And, I mean, he was still fit, in good shape, but he still made a huge name for himself. You don't need to be on tremendous amount of steroids to get over in the company these days. CM Punk, prime example of a guy who works hard, does everything he can, and he doesn't need those steroids, and he does good. He does great. Benoit, sad to see him go. Crazy to hear about that information, and it's just one of those things where nobody could ever expect what happened with Benoit to happen. And then that new information coming out where he's going to die in 10 months, I don't know. As people like, oh, well, then I guess it's okay that he did that. I still don't think it's okay. I think the loss of all of his friends, I think the drug use, I think the steroid use, and it made his heart enlarged. Still to this day, don't know why he did that. The only people that will know why he did that is him and Nancy and Daniel. But until then, until I get to heaven, or you know what, we'll probably never know. I was going to say, if I ever get there and can ask that question to anybody, if God is real, I don't know. I'm just rambling now, but we'll never know the true answer. He didn't leave a note, so we don't really know. Anyway, guys, that is it. I want to stop talking about Chris Benoit now for the third time. I think I've talked about him second time. I don't know, but enough about Chris Benoit. Sad to see what happened. Crazy that he was going to die in 10 months. Didn't expect that. And I thank you for your questions on hashtag Tuesday. Anyway, guys, hit that like button again. If you did enjoy this video, again, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TonyPizzaGuy. Use the hashtag TWESDAY every Tuesday, and I will take your questions. Tony Pizza Guy, frag out.